Hey, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Custom Apparel Startups podcast. This is Mark Stevenson.
And this is a Mark Vila. Is this special? Is it like a Christmas episode?
It's special because today we're actually going to kind of do an interview with Mark Vila. Not as his not wearing his hat as my co-host here on the Custom Apparel Startups podcast, but wearing his Lord of the Universe and all he surveys for the ColemanandCompany.com online store, which, if you don't know, is not only ColDesi's supply site, it is arguably the most successful supply site in the custom apparel industry. You know, I don't know of any that is more financially successful, laid out better, gets more positive reviews. I mean, we looked at at our review software for the store just the other day, and there were something like over 32,000 reviews that were 4 and 5 stars for Coleman and Company.
Yeah, I was just going to pull that.
A lot of that is kind of usability.
Yeah, there's 4.7 out of 5 stars right now, and over 30,000 reviews, and yeah, almost all of those are 4 and 5 stars. And there's a handful of 3s and 2s and 1s, which I've got some gripes about some of those folks and what they've complained about, honestly.
People just don't understand.
Yeah, well, I'll just call those the unreasonable folks. Since you own a business out there, you recognize that a potential of them are unreasonable, and we get them too. But nope, thanks for all those compliments, Mark, and all that good stuff. I mean, we'll maybe start off by really just, I was going to say a bunch of things that we've done and a bunch of reasons why I am an expert or not, or we're both experts. And I just decided that, you're either going to think I'm an expert now or not. And and I can list off a bunch of technical and hard things that we've done here or not, and it doesn't really matter at this point. There's like 200 episodes of this podcast.
Most of those things he would say, even I don't really understand. But really, but the motivation here behind doing this episode, and why I suggested that we just kind of interview Mark, is because we get comments, once or twice a month at least, in the Custom Apparel Startups Facebook group. Somebody has just started their web store, or maybe it's been their online store has been open for a month or 6 months or even a year, and they've got still like the basic questions, and those questions are, how can I get people to visit the site? And then when they do visit, why aren't people buying anything? And those are 2 questions that I think Mark Vila and the ecom team spend most of their lives answering for themselves. So they're in a unique position to answer it for all the rest of us too.
Yeah, well, but then we'll dive right into that stuff then, and we'll get into the meat of the podcast here. So there's really 2 things that we're talking about when somebody asks why their online store is not going well. And most of the times we're talking to folks online that are either it's a t-shirt business or some sort of other customization business. So they might do mugs,
Shopify store, or
yeah, and they might do mugs, they might do posters, they might do custom license plates, t-shirts, hoodies, all that stuff, whatever you customize. And you're probably hopefully in some sort of a niche market, or you have like a type of a customer that you appeal to, and the online store just feels kind of just empty, dead. No, the people aren't really going there, people aren't really buying things, and it's 2 things to address. Why isn't anyone coming to my online store?
Yeah.
And then why aren't the people who are coming, because there probably are some people coming.
Yeah.
30 people a month. Yeah. I mean, that's by accident. You can get like 20 people accidentally come to your store a month, but why aren't they buying? Right. So,
and in the marketing vernacular here, we're talking about traffic and conversions.
Traffic and conversions. If we're talking about marketing, great. I love that you leveled up this conversation. with
There you
some
go.
sweet,
You know,
sweet
because there are
marketing
some people
jargon.
that are doing pretty well,
Yeah.
and they may have listened to the podcast before.
Yeah.
This is like episode 168.
Yeah, is it? Well, I couldn't even. Wow, it's remarkable. Well, so two sections: how to get more people to come to your store. So how do you increase your online traffic? Right? How do you get people to come? And then once people are there, what do you do to help them make a purchase when they visit, or how do you get them to convert? And these things are really there's just a series of steps to move forward on this stuff. And if I would say, if it's going to be hard, it's not going to be super easy, and it's not going to happen right away. But if you do all these steps, you are definitely going to get traffic, and you'll definitely going to get conversion, and you'll figure it out. So why don't we start with how to get people to come?
I just want to point one thing out.
Sure.
And that's there are a lot of people that I want to disavow this idea that you're all alone. I mean, a bunch of people will start a website and they'll focus on actually creating a site that they'll do themselves, and they'll put up the pictures. And then when they finish the site, they just naturally expect people will find it on the internet and buy things. So I just want to address the idea that it shouldn't be a surprise, and you're not alone if you're out there and you've created a store that nobody goes to. And you've created a store that few people go to and nobody buys. So you're not by yourself. Break out a notepad, take notes on what we're about to talk about with everybody else on the internet, and get some help figuring this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And anyone who has an online store that they're selling custom apparel, anything like that we're talking about today, that's successful. They did one or all of these things. Okay. And if it seemed to be very easy or very fast for them, then I think I made a note somewhere in the notes, but one, they were just got super lucky, because there's a percentage of people who get lucky with anything, right? I mean, there's somebody out there who has found $10,000 in a paper bag. That has happened, right? So you can just get 10 grand by luck, right? So there's some people who got super lucky. There's some people who maybe they've got connections. They have a handful of friends that have a ton of social media followers, or they're in a group, with some people of influence, and they just got a bunch of followers and traffic dumped into their store. And there's some people who spent a ton of money to get people to come. They've invested $100,000 or $1 million or multi-millions of dollars because they have investors. But the folks that were listening here today, you're trying to beat luck. You are regularly connected. You're just like everybody else. Normal. You don't have best friends that have millions of followers on social media or something like that. And you're not dumping millions of dollars into this. Now, a lot of this stuff can still apply to those, but this is for the folks who are asking that question that we're starting with. Mm-hmm. How do I get people to come to my online store? And how do I get people to purchase? How do I get traffic, and how do I get conversions?
Yep.
So let's start with how to get traffic. Okay. Do you want to start with some basics, Mark?
Yeah, sure. We've got an episode or 2 or 7 about how to get found online, and you should listen to all those. I'll try to find some of those and link to it on the bottom. But basically, you should be filling out the free things on the internet that Google, especially Google and Bing, both make available to you just for the asking. If you've ever filled anything, if you've ever searched for something online, one of the first things that comes up is probably a map, and it's got a business featured on the map, and then it's got more businesses that are listed on the map. And you can get there, and all you have to do is go to fill out a Google profile on Google My Business, and that's free. And you'll fill out all the information about you and your store and what you do, and then you'll go over and search for Bing Places, which is Microsoft's equivalent of Google My Business, and you'll hit a couple of buttons to import those over. Everything you just did on Google will import automatically into Bing Places if you do it right. And then it's just going through the rest of all the social profiles that you can possibly pay attention to and fill those out. Like you've got a Facebook business page and you fill out your Instagram page to the best of your abilities. You're on LinkedIn, you're wherever you care to participate. You're on TikTok, just fill in all of those things with all the information that you can and all the links, and that will give you a leg up.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the simple stuff to do that oftentimes gets missed, where somebody will fill out their Facebook profile or their Google business profile, and they didn't put their website there. Oftentimes it's because you made the social profile first.
Yes.
And then you didn't add the website later after you made your website, because it's easy to make a Facebook page, a lot easier than it is to make a website. So it's important that if you've done all this stuff, and we've said this, and every time we've mentioned this, go back and look again, make sure, double check. We did a marketing checkup a few episodes ago. So go through that and make sure that all your basics are set out.
Yeah.
So that's going to make sure.
That's for two reasons, by the way. It's not just so that people can find your website inside those platforms. It's also because those links actually add value to the website.
Yes. No, the great point. So linking to that, in so many words, I mean, there's a lot of debate on how much it means and what it's really worth. But in a nutshell, it does help Google's, AI to recognize that this is a business, and here's the little network of this business. Here's the Facebook page, here's the Twitter, here's whatever you have. Okay. The next step to getting people found online, this one is it's a slow grower, but it works. And it just depends on what you share and a little bit of luck and all that involved. But you have to share what you sell, share your website. So this means not only sharing the main URL of the website, like your homepage, my shirts, the shirts that I sell.com, but also sharing individual products. So pictures of custom shirts that you've made, pictures of things that you sell, mugs, whatever it is, you need to specifically share all that stuff. Right.
So could you do like a quick example of the kind of thing that you would say when you share that kind of thing?
Well, it's going to depend on the platform individually. Okay. Right. So I think that maybe we could talk about some platforms individually and how we might share those. Okay. So starting off with social media, which is one that is typically what people would ask when I share it. How do I share it? Okay. Yeah. That's the most common one. So if it's going to be if it's somewhere where you can write text and provide a link directly, like Facebook or Twitter, and an image, it's pretty easy, check out this cool, patriotic t-shirt. Check out this cool t-shirt from that shows, bass fishing. Here's a link to the t-shirt. Share it with your friends. You kind of want to have some check boxes when you're sharing, but describing what it is so people know what it is, providing a link to what it is, maybe even asking people to share or comment. And there's a whole podcast on social media sharing, and there's a lot on how to share and tips and tricks to share. But I would say, if you can write a description and a link, you don't write a description and a link. If you can put a picture, you put a picture too. That's what's going to get the attention. So if you have a really interesting t-shirt design, you share the t-shirt design, you maybe write a short description of what it is, and then you let people know where to get it.
Yeah.
There's a balance between being too salesy on sharing stuff, because people aren't going to want to share it if it's too salesy. And there's a balance between not being salesy at all and people don't even know it's for sale.
Yeah. True.
And there is no true secret formula of it, because it depends. It depends on what you're selling, who your audience is. Some people are going to be very receptive to hearing the words "buy this now" and I like it, and other people are going to say you're a shill if you're on there trying to sell something in their forum.
And you maybe do both.
Yeah. And so this is just, all of this stuff is just stuff you're going to have to do and see how it performs. And you're going to have to do it a lot over time. Okay. But also on social media, some places like Instagram, you're not going to be able to post a link right with the image. You're just going to be able to post an image, and you can put a little bit of text. So any of these are where you put links in your profile. So if somebody does see your picture and they find it interesting, or they see your TikTok video and they find it interesting, then they'll click on your profile because they're going to want to see more stuff you made. And right in your profile, you can put a link to your website, or a link directly to a certain product page for stuff that you feature on social media.
Yep.
Any other comments on social media sharing or questions?
No, just, the image is really important, I think. And sometimes when you put a link like in LinkedIn or in Facebook in particular, it will suggest an image. There's a share image that's part of your website. And that may or may not be a good image. So if it's not, maybe that's something that you can work on. In the meantime, you can delete the image and put up a different one if you want to.
Yeah, you can manually put an image on any.
Manually put up a picture.
Yep, absolutely. So social sharing is important. Another thing with that is you probably don't have a lot of people following you right now. More than likely, especially if this is all new. So just a thing you can do with that is, for one, you still post and share and ask people to share. Ask your friends and family and customers if they will like and share and comment, because that will just kind of help the juice get going. The more people that comment on a post, the more people that share it, that means that that social media is working. The social media companies, their money is in eyes and time. Right. If you create a piece of content that gets people's eyes and time, they will show it to more people. So that's pretty simple on that. The next in regards to sharing your by the way, last bit on social media, pictures or video. Yeah. Be creative. Be as creative as you want. The more creative and interesting you get that fits your brand. You could show the design actually being printed. Yep. You could wear a shirt while getting mud thrown in your face. I mean, whatever kind of fits your brand, wear it while you're fishing if it's fishing shirts.
It might work. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's and you do something that fits your brand. If it's baby clothes, have a cute baby. Right? Animal clothes, get your shirts on pets.
Well, let's say get a picture of a cute baby.
Yeah.
Because if you have a cute baby, then it may take at least like 9 or 10 months.
Okay.
Before you
I got you. So it's got to be a baby you can get a picture of with your stuff on.
Yes.
So next is going to be sharing your content email. If you have an email list, if you have current customers, previous customers, definitely you email them links to your products. This is just standard email marketing stuff. We've got podcasts on that, but email marketing is another way to get people to visit your website. Same rules apply for social media. As be creative, share things that are interesting, let people know it's for sale. Emails relate to previous customers as well. So you can what we would say like batch and blast all your customers. If you have individual customers you'd like to email, or your business is still pretty small, where you've only got maybe dozens of customers, you could just email them individually. Hey, here's my online store. You've bought from me offline. I want to show you my store. If you want anything, great. Maybe even you can say, here's a coupon. By the way, it'd be a huge help if you would forward this to some friends, or share a link on your social media for me, or text it to somebody. I'm just trying to grow the store and I'm trying to get the word out. If you share it to one person, it's huge for me.
Yeah.
So email previous customers. I mean, this one's almost silly, but just in person.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Like, hey, by the way, Mark Vila, did you know that I've got my own store?
Yeah.
Like, I've got an online store. Why don't you come over on Friday and you can shop and I can watch you.
Yep. Here
You
and
know,
here's
like literally just like tell everyone that you know.
tell everyone you know. Yeah. You go to a party, tell some folks. I mean, I'm a big fan of not being annoying about it.
Yeah.
But there's also nothing wrong with saying what you do. And we also have some podcasts on networking and meeting people and sharing. And this is a great way. The same rules apply for your online store.
Yep.
Here's a little side thing you could do for in person. All right. So Google search how to generate a QR code. Okay. It's free.
Don't pay for it.
Don't pay for it.
Right.
If the site asks you to pay, read in the little areas. There's fine print. There's trickery in the QR world.
Yes.
Okay. QR is a QR code is a language, just like English or sign language. It's a language that a phone can read. It's free. So you can get one generated for free online. I don't have a good website to recommend. I didn't come prepared for that, but there's a lot out there and they'll generate it for free.
Yep.
Take a picture of it or download it if you can, save it into your phone, put the little heart on it so it's in your favorites, or put it in a folder you can pull up easily and like fast. None of this. Nobody wants to watch you scroll through your phone looking for pictures. Favorite it. Get it in a
and
spot.
It might be dangerous if they do.
Yes, very. So have it in your favorites, pull it up. And if the conversation does sum up and somebody does seem interested, you pull it up and say, hey, if you scan it, it'll go to my website.
Yeah.
And that prevents having to spell things and D, not E, D.
I love that. That's a great idea.
So text message is another way to share your products online, just going down the list. This could be texting existing customers, texting friends, texting in groups, and also just asking to text. There's also text messaging marketing platforms, just like there's email platforms where people can subscribe to a list.
Yep. Maybe if you and your family are on WhatsApp or Telegram, or if you've got any other chat apps, think about those in relation to text messaging as well.
Yep, that's great. And text messaging is another way of asking to share. So you could, hey, so-and-so, we did some business before. I'm just shooting you a quick text because I opened up an online store. It's brand new. I'm just trying to get some people to go and check it out. And maybe if there's something in there they'd like to buy, here's the link. By the way, if you know anybody who might be interested, I'd appreciate if you forward this text to somebody else, even if it's just one person. It's huge to me, something like that.
Yeah.
Next down there, we've got YouTube, which is
very ambitious. I saw that on there. I'm like, that's very ambitious.
Yeah, and that's different than social media, but and it requires a degree of creativity. But it is a way to get people to your online store. You can show pictures of what you sell. You can show pictures of the process. You can make it more of like a video blog where you talk about building your online store and show what you sell. If you sell puppy and baby clothes, then those are pretty darn easy to get cute and shareable footage of. And then, of course, if you make a video, whatever you decide your creativity for the video it is, in the description, you've got to write up what it is and have a link to what you're selling to your online store.
And I'll say this is the first one on the list that's useful in more than one way.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with social, generally you're kind of confined to the social platform. Like LinkedIn, if you post something on LinkedIn and you want to share that with somebody else, it's very annoying, because you have to sign into LinkedIn. The same with Facebook, the same with Twitter. Somebody sends me, forwards me an email link for Twitter, and I don't have anything to open it with. So YouTube is pretty universal, and you can not only share it with anybody and they can consume that content, but you can use it in a bunch of ways. You can put it on your website. You can use it as a product description. It's super useful if you can bring yourself to get on video.
It can be in your Facebook post, and it can be in your email, and it can be in your text message, and it can be in the in-person meeting, so the YouTube does. And it's there's each one of these is individually requires some thought and some ideas and some creativity, but you're also in a creative business. So I've seen a ton of amazing things that people do. You can also watch some competition and see what they're doing, get some inspiration from them. The last bit about sharing your content, blogs, forums, groups, Reddit, Facebook groups, any type of niche blogs you're in, if they allow you to share links to products you sell or post about them, then you should do that.
Yeah.
You should do that. Don't do it too much that you upset the admins. Ask permission if you're unsure. If it's not if you don't see anything in the rules, you can ask permission, or you can just try it and then apologize if they say don't do that.
Yeah.
But definitely check the rules. I would do that first and try to share in any of those places. Make sure it's relevant. Make sure it makes sense. If you're allowed to sell and say, here's something I make online. You can buy it here. If you're not allowed to sell, oftentimes you can just share a picture of the shirt, maybe. And that's enough to share, and then let people figure out how to get there from the rest. Maybe they ping you and ask you a comment.
And we can definitely expand a little bit on the idea behind blogs, because like YouTube videos, you can also be found on search organically if you create a YouTube video with a good description. Mm-hmm. But creating blogs, doing blog posts is still definitely a viable way, not just to help Google find your site, which we spend a considerable amount of time at ColDesi and Coleman and Company doing that, creating articles and blogs. But it's also great to share in those circumstances that Mark Vila was just talking about. So oftentimes, like what we'll do is, if you've seen any of the videos, like the differences in embroidery backings, we do mention that you can buy those embroidery backings at Coleman and Company. But the video and the article that goes with it exist independently of that. So very comfortable to share that on any of the Facebook forums, Facebook groups, or if you're in Reddit and somebody asks a question and you've got a good piece of content that answers that question, you can build up some good responses and some fans and get links back to your website as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. So this kind of falls into then the next one. Maybe you can even chat about it, because we've talked all about sharing, all the ways you can share. The next way to get people to your website is to create search engine friendly content. Right. So SEO, SEM type of stuff. Why don't you tell us a couple ways you can do that, since you kind of were getting into it?
I'd say just what I said. The Google, their job is to match what their customers are looking for with the best results that they can find. Okay, so that's what they're trying to do all the time. So you've got to take a look at your e-commerce store and figure out what about that, what on there is going to answer one of those questions. So for example, if I'm looking for a custom hockey jersey for an 8-year-old, then if I type that in, how can I make sure that my results show up, that my website shows up in some kind of a way? And that is, if you have a YouTube video that is on hockey jerseys for youth or for 8-year-olds or 8 to 10-year-olds, and you have that's the topic, and you've got pictures of it in the video, and you've got a description that mentions it, Google may show people your results. It's the same way with the blog post. You just have a better opportunity because there's more words. If you look for direct-to-garment printers or direct-to-film printers right now, if you type that in, what's the best direct-to-film printer, you're very likely going to find content on the ColDesi site, because we wrote an article about what's the best direct-to-film printer on the market. So you find that. So you'll think about that as you're writing content with making words, or you're videoing content and describing it. Think about the questions that people ask that you want them to find your site as an answer.
Yeah, that's great. That put it in a great way. And so essentially there's two ways to create search engine friendly content, maybe three, and there's a lot. There's really two or three that I think are very worthy, unless you're really getting into guts of things or you're trying to find some interesting ways to do it. But the simple and standard ways would be you write articles slash blog posts slash descriptions of your products that really just define what it is, and also address questions people may ask, whether they're looking to buy that product or they have a question about that product. Okay, so
can I stop you here and kind of narrow in on the online store thing and the product description? Because that's, to me, that's tough, is to have a product show up if somebody's searching on Google, to have like a product page. So like, are there things that you would do? I'm going to use a marketing word, to optimize a product listing on an e-commerce store. Like, if somebody was asking you, Mark Vila, here's my store and everything else looks good, what can I do to make people find this product?
Yeah, so finding a specific product online nowadays with Google's current algorithm, which they're going to be changing soon, and I don't know if it's going to affect it or not, but having a product, what's the best knife, what's the best mug, it's almost impossible nowadays. All you're going to get is articles on top. You're not really going to get a product to show up. Okay. And the reason is because Google has a way for you to upload a feed of your products and pay for your products to be shown up. So
before you talk about that, I just want to restate what you just said. If you have just started, because you said that it's very unlikely that you're going to get a product page to show up on Google.
Yeah.
That means that if you just sign up and for a Shopify store and load it up with all your products in the most basic templates and just say custom t-shirt about pickles, and that's your description, then Google will not show that to anyone.
It's slim.
It's very, very unlikely. And that's why people aren't finding your website. So we're talking about how to help people find your website. If you had thought that you could put a picture and a few words about a product, and even if it's a cool design, that people would just organically find it, Mark Vila just said that's pretty much not going to happen.
Yeah, it's hard. It's much harder to do. But it's an aggregate. Okay, so if you have a lot of products in a niche market that people would search for it, like pickle shirts, sure, that's a good example.
Okay. I like that one.
So there are some people searching for pickle shirts because there's some people searching for everything on the internet, period, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And if you have a bunch of shirts about pickles and you write good descriptions for each product, a nice paragraph, this is a pickle riding a bike, this is a pickle flying a plane. Overall, that does increase your chances of being found. Right. So words like never and things like that are just too absolute. Right. So it's an aggregate. So you do that. Then what you also do is you would write an article about pickle shirts,
right.
How to find the best shirts with pickles on them, pickle designs. And then you would write a little article. What are the different types of designs you can get? You can get pickles playing sports, you can get pickles eating food, you can get pickles going places, and then you give examples and you link to those, and then that piece of content's probably more likely for Google to show someone because it's showing somebody not just one product that might be the wrong one, but it will show a list of a bunch of different products and a description of them, and it's maybe it is a better answer. Further, when we talk about your products and your lists, you can look into getting your products listed on a Google feed, which is kind of part of this search engine friendly content. That's much harder than writing an article and making a video. there's going to be some things you have to learn, and there's maybe some software you have to purchase to make things easier for you, or you may have to hire somebody. It really just depends on how good you are with this stuff. But you can provide Google a feed of all of your products. If you have an online store through one of the common places like Shopify or Wix or something like that, they're going to have Google Feed plugin type of stuff to help you get your stuff on Google. It will increase the likelihood of them showing that product. And Google will also tell you that you can give them money to show it more often.
Right.
Okay. But we're not at paying for clicks just yet. We're almost there, though. The next is just we described the YouTube videos with a great description. You've already said that, but that is the second way. Writing articles. The feed is the second way, I guess. The YouTube videos would be a third. Same thing you would write an article about, you would make a video about.
So, and I think it's important to bring everything that we're talking about together, because you made a great point, and that's what we tell people all the time is, if your site doesn't have a theme or a niche market or some kind of a common thread that holds all the pages and products and articles and videos, social media profiles together, then it just makes it harder for Google to send people to you. So like Mark said, if you've got 50 pickle shirt designs and you've got 2 great articles on different pickle stuff, and you've got a video on it, and your social media platforms links back to it, with comments and posts about that same topic, then Google will look at people searching for pickle related items, and they're much more likely to add up everything that you've done and send them to somewhere on your website, versus if you've only got like one product that shows this and one product that shows that and one product that shows the other thing, and there's no theme to it. So I think that thematic idea is another way to say, it'll be a lot easier if you have a niche market.
Yes. Yeah. Because a lot of folks want to make like funny shirts or shirts with their art on it, which are my favorite shirts. Okay. I love funny shirts. And I love shirts with cool like art on it, right? And when I wear shirts and t-shirts in public, those funny shirts or shirts with really interesting and cool art are the ones that get the most comments from people. They're also, if you think you're going to be Google search found for funny t-shirt or good shirt with good art, the competition is so hard and so stiff. I mean, you're running a marathon against people who've been practicing for marathons for a decade, and this is your first pair of running shoes. Okay, so you're probably not going to win unless you're really lucky, or you've got steroids, aka money.
Yeah. Now that's you're probably not going to win if you're relying on people to find you.
Yeah.
If you're out looking for people, like in those proactive social posts inside groups and things like that Mark Vila talked about, we've done a dozen podcasts on. If you're proactively marketing people to come to your website, then if you've got funny fishing shirts and you post a couple of pictures in a fishing forum, anywhere on the internet, you're going to get some traffic. But those same people are going to leave Facebook, and they're going to type in funny fishing shirts. They're not going to find you.
Yes. So exactly. So this, and specifically in that context, it's under the creating search engine friendly content. So if you just sell funny shirts or shirts with your art, it's going to be really hard to create content that's found on Google easily or in a search engine.
Yep.
It also, it'll be challenging on social media too, but it is going to be more likely that, because people do it every day, they see something funny, they forward it to a group chat they're in, they forward it to their friends.
Yep.
And if you write good stuff and it's funny stuff and it is legitimately funny, you will have people share it. Yeah. It will happen. And it's not necessarily going to be easy. And sometimes people laugh at their own jokes more than other people actually laugh at them. So having self-awareness is really good with this, or having a trusted group of people you can ping ideas off of.
Yeah, that'll tell you you're not funny.
Yeah.
So we've got like a limited time here and a big topic.
Yeah.
So let's talk about paid, what it's like to write a check, and then we can move on to the questions that people have about how to get people to buy. So
Yeah.
we'll go from developing eyeballs and traffic, getting people to find your site, to once they're there, how to get people to buy. So why don't you talk for a few minutes about like early strategies for paying for eyeballs for a shopping site?
Yeah, sure. So, there's Google search ads, social media ads, and then like a paid for ad through a niche website where your niche will advertise for you. I think those are the three things. In and of themselves, they're very complex things to discuss. We've got content on all of this stuff in previous podcasts. But this is a way to do it. The big thing I would just say here is, more than likely, it's not that you're going to throw a couple $100 into a Google ad and you're going to make more than a couple $100 in sales.
Right.
Okay. Now, we know customers who have done that, and we've seen customers do it online. If you've got everything lined up, a good idea, like a legit good idea, and you advertise it, and all the things that we're going to talk about next are all lined up, then yes, you could do that. And plenty of people will tell you their success stories. They oftentimes won't tell you about the 80% of the other ones that didn't work.
Right.
But that is something that you develop a formula for on paying to sell your t-shirts online. So a couple things. If you've got some money to experiment with, that's more than a couple $100, then I say go for it, because that's how you're going to grow fast. You're going to get the most amount of eyes quick, and you could pay for likes, and you could pay, not paying people to like it, but you pay for an ad. People will see the ad. People will then go to your page, and people will like you because they saw something you created. Yep. Right. It's legitimate. And then ads on niche websites are another thing too. But all of this, before you pay, we need to get into the next section. You've got to do all this other stuff first, or at least be prepared for all that stuff. But that's the next way you get traffic, is you pay for it. You pay for Google search, you pay for social ads, you pay for ads on other websites. And all of those are a way to get a ton of traffic to your website. It's just a matter of making sure that when people come, they buy.
Agreed. Okay, so we've got a strategy for getting people to the website. We're going to do blog posts. We're going to make sure that our product descriptions are great. We're going to do a video. We are going to make sure there's some kind of a theme or word set or idea that ties everything together to make sure that Google finds us. We're going to share it on social media. We're going to do all those proactive things, not just the passive ones. And now people are coming to the website. What are the best ways to ensure that that they actually click the buy button? Because people shop all the time. Like I shop on websites all the time and I don't buy anything. That happens. How do you keep that from happening? How do you motivate people
to
write you a check?
Well, nobody writes a check online, but fair.
That's a good point. I mean, I do. Maybe that's why it's not working for me.
That's why it doesn't work. All right. So basics again, right? Basics, just like we said before. Hardest one, make sure your products are good. Okay. That's hard, but they have to actually be something that somebody would want to buy. And that's why I said, have good self-awareness, talk to other people, share it in groups, you'll get feedback. If you share something and a lot of people like it, that's probably a good product. If you share something and it's crickets, doesn't mean it's a bad product, but look for ones that get attention and see why, and think about that. Bounce the ideas off customers, bounce it off friends, bounce it off any groups you might be a part of, anything like that. So have good products that people would want to buy. And that's probably the hardest one right there.
Yeah.
Make sure your pricing is just within reason. Okay. So if it's way too cheap, for one, you're not going to make any money and people are going to trust it's too good to be true. And if it's way too expensive, it's just, why would they buy it? Because they can buy something similar for a better price.
And I'll just add that you should make sure that you're pricing for your audience.
Yes.
So if you, like, the other day I was just looking on Facebook, and this guy does custom denim jackets that probably he spends 40 hours on. They're going to be $1,500, $2,000. People buy them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm not his audience, but there are people that buy them. That's his market. He's marketing to celebrities and very wealthy people that like denim. If that's your niche, if you are going after those people, then charging a lot of money might be a good thing. They'll think it's more valuable. If you're targeting, teenagers, then maybe not so much.
Yeah,
so you
teenagers
sure
are probably
pricing is reasonable for the people that you're trying to appeal to.
Yes, exactly. So you'll have to figure that out. It's got to be profitable. It's got to be reasonable. It's got to be kind of just right.
Yep.
Clear images is something. Clear, nice, crisp, not sloppy. If your images are skewed or fuzzy, or they don't look like they belong together when you look at a grid of products, then people are just going to be a little bit less trustworthy of the site, and or not know what they're buying.
And you should compare the pictures to other e-commerce stores as well. You don't have to be compared well to the Gap.
Yeah.
And their photography, but just because it's the best picture that you were able to get doesn't mean that the picture is good enough. You know what I mean? Like you need to have a good picture. It doesn't have to be studio quality, but it's got to be good.
Yeah.
And you can ask people.
And there's so many ways to do it. There's not one right or wrong way. And we'll get into testing things later. But if you haven't printed every single shirt and put it on a model and taken a picture, well, then you can't do that. Just show a picture of the art.
Yeah. If
you've printed the shirts, but you don't have anybody modeling them, well, you put the shirt on a table and take a picture. You can Photoshop some of that stuff too if it's good. If it looks fake, people aren't going to like it. So authentic, clear, good images. Same thing with the description of the product. Make sure people understand what it is. It's great to be clever and funny and interesting in your descriptions, but if it's not very, very clear on what it is, then some people will be mistaken, and some of those people would have bought. Right. So if you have all clever, funny stuff, do that, but then make sure you put, this is a printed t-shirt with a pickle design. It comes in sizes this to this. It's printed on this type of material, etc. Just describe it so nobody is mistaken in what they're looking at.
Yep, I like that.
Okay. Next basic is just make sure everything works. When they click on an image, make sure the page opens. If they go to add it to cart, just make sure the process works. That's just part of the marketing checkup that we described the other day. That's a challenge. That's hard. We've got, I don't even remember the number now, 80,000 something SKUs on Coleman and Company. I mean, we find broken stuff all the time now, and not all, it's just the way it is.
It's a lot. I found
a huge website.
I found something on just one of our information sites today. It's a broken video. It's 50% of the page was this video, and it wasn't working.
Yeah. So it's just make sure everything works, and it's a continuous check, and you're never going to be 100% perfect 100% of the time, but it's an important step. The last one I have is just building trust. When somebody comes to your website, they don't want to be scammed. Nowadays, it's probably likely that they have been scammed online at least once. So you want to make sure that your website looks and feels trustworthy. That means you can have reviews testimonials, links out to social media, trusted brands. If you sell Hanes t-shirts, Vapor apparel t-shirts, American Apparel, if you sell shirts that are known brands, you put the logo on there. Let people show them things that they trust and know. Your Visa, MasterCard logos. If you have something like Shopper Approved or TrustGuard or Norton Web Security, all these things, put those logos on the website. Let people see things that are familiar and they trust.
That's a great idea.
PayPal, all that stuff. Also, if you happen to have any customer accolades, like a really big customer that people might know in your area or in your niche, get them up there too.
And I was thinking about reviews the other day. If you're just starting out, maybe you can just get some people that that say how awesome you are.
Yeah, there you go.
Like I've known Mark Vila for 10 years now. Great guy, very honest. I really love the t-shirts. Support the business.
Yeah. There you go. It doesn't mean that they have to and that is not a lie.
No, yeah. They don't.
I am great and honest.
They just have to know you.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I left a review like that for a friend of mine who started a business. Known him a long time. He's great. He's put his heart and soul into this, and I think if you buy from him, you'll be super happy. 5 stars. Great. The next is just what we'll say is optimizing the shopping experience.
Yeah.
Okay. What that means is, does it make sense? Is it easy to do? Right. And to put it simply, when you go into like a store like Target, they've optimized their shopping experience. The entrance.
Great example.
There's signs everywhere with categories. They put the most kind of popular common stuff like in a spot that's easy to get to. They have a checkout area that's very clear. And then when you check out, the exit door is right there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you want to do with your online store. Do your categories make sense? Is it easy to find your products? Show customers popular items, related items.
Is it, let me just specify, is it easy for people that you don't know?
Yeah.
Have never seen your site before to find all that stuff?
Yes.
Because you'll fool yourself into thinking that it's organized well because you know where everything is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like somebody else walking into your kitchen and starting to open up cabinet doors to figure out where the glasses are. You don't, because because you put them there.
Yeah.
But somebody coming in doesn't intuitively know which one of those brown cabinet doors have glasses behind it. You've got to put the sign on the door, and this is where the glasses are, man. Opens on the left, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And you can get people to go to your store and watch them, if you'd like to, if you're in a business group or you have friends, ask them to go and say, just shop around. Watch what they click on. You don't need that many people to do it to realize that the most popular item you want to sell, nobody's even looking at. So that means you need to maybe change the image, change where it's located. It's a moving process. If you go to your local grocery store or Target or Walmart, nothing is in the same spot where it was from like 5 years ago. If you go back that far, like nothing is in the same spot. It's always going to change. So should your online store. It should just change a little bit over time, slowly, and you'll figure it out.
So reducing friction in the buying process is next.
Yes. So reducing friction in the buying process is, for one, the pricing is part of it. Not overselling too much. Let people click and buy and buy it. Not everything needs to be upgrade this, upgrade this, upgrade this. You don't need to have 40 options for a t-shirt. So it's just so hard to buy, somebody gives up.
Yeah.
Here's your shirt. Pick a size, pick the color. Maybe you don't even pick the color.
Yeah.
Here's the shirt. The design looks good on this color. That's it. And then later on, you can try a different color and see if people like that better, or maybe try 2 colors.
That's a great point.
Make the checkout easy. It should be easy on desktop and mobile. It should just be easy to fill out and do. It shouldn't be a pain in the butt. If it's clunky and weird,
We're just going to leave.
Offer free shipping when possible. It's a point of friction that is reality in this world that nobody is willing to accept. Yeah. But it's really expensive to ship stuff in this world. And you have to charge for it one way or another. Right? It's not free to you as a business owner. So you can try to, if you can raise the price of your shirts to offer shipping for free, great. If you can maybe just make shipping a nice simple number, $3.99, great. Just whenever you can, or offer them free shipping at $50 because then you can afford it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't make it a surprise.
Yeah, not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise. And we do the best that we can, at Coleman and Company, but it's one of our number one complaints because somebody doesn't want to pay shipping. But the problem is they order a material that's 2 feet wide and it doesn't weigh, but it's a big box.
Yeah. And
it does cost, UPS wants $20 to ship that thing.
Yeah.
The product only costs $16.99. What are we going to do? Right. So it's a challenge.
You can come get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's something that you should just consider all the time, and you're not going to win 100% of the time. The last point of the shopping experience is just be clear when the item will ship and when it will be delivered as best as you can. Right there, obvious. Yes. Items ship within 24 hours. Items ship same day. Items ship within 4 days. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, sooner is always better. But if it takes you 3 days because it takes you 3 days, it does. Just say it.
Yeah, and I would say under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people are always excited to get a package before they were expecting it, and never excited if it's a day late.
Well, I would say this. I would say find a nice clean spot you think you can live with, because the goal here now is to sell. And then if you have to move it because of customer service issues later, move it. So just find a balance. Don't go too crazy, under promising. Don't go too crazy and over promising. Find a nice safe spot. But if somebody doesn't know when they're going to get it, you're going to lose some sales, period. If they know it's going to take a week, you will lose some sales compared to next day. But you will have some. But you will make more sales than letting people guess.
Well, let's talk about testing.
Yeah. So this one is actually the most complicated, but the simplest to explain. You try different images, see how they do. Try different prices, see how they do. Feature different products, see how they do. You test it, and you continue to try different things and see how it performs. Don't take any results that you get that they're written in stone, because the world changes. So if you try one thing and it's working, try to duplicate it with a different product and see if it works there. If it doesn't, that one product is still winning, just let it go and
try something else on the other one.
Try something else. It's just, you got to test different things. If one product is failing, even though you think it should do really well, try it again, change the price. Try it again with a different image. Try it again with offering free shipping on it. Try it again.
That could be the most important thing that we've said about conversion strategy.
Yeah. And it's not easy, and it's hard to do. And really all tests should follow a very strict scientific method when possible. And that's a podcast on and of itself.
We should do that. So now let's talk about, you've got a great kind of sentence here that I really like, and that's create a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll move on to what to do to follow up to increase conversions. So what do you mean by that journey?
Sure. You post an image of a shirt. We'll just use one example, and it goes for all of them. Let's use Instagram.
Okay.
Post an image of a shirt on Instagram. On Instagram, we've already said you can't put the link in the picture, so you put the link in your profile. On that link, you should be able to see that shirt. that you
So when
posted.
somebody clicks it, they see the same shirt that they saw on the app.
Yeah, maybe not, and maybe it's not just that shirt, but maybe you're going to post 12 shirts over 12 days. All 12 of those shirts need to be visible in that link because someone's going to see it and they're going to click it and you want them to find it. If they have to search your website, gone.
Yeah.
Right. So you post a shirt, you post a link to where they can see that shirt for sale. You maybe show some related products to that shirt, as I mentioned, just in case they might like something else. You can maybe feature a price or a product or a coupon or whatever you might need to do on that to help facilitate the sale. And then you let them check out easy. Right. So PayPal, Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, Visa checkout, you make the checkout super easy. If someone has to type in a credit card, you're going to lose some sales because it takes too long and it's less impulsive. I got to get my credit card on my wallet. Never mind.
I hate that. Yeah.
So if you post a picture of a shirt online, the most optimal way to do it is the most amount of work, but the most optimal way to do it would be you post it on Instagram, you change a link in your profile to that product. They get there, they see that product. If it happens to not be available in their size or something they need, you maybe have a couple related options to it. Yeah. When they click add to cart, they also know if it's a deal or something like that. If you're trying to test deals, test them, test on deals. They add it to their cart. They see they can pay with Apple Pay. They click Apple Pay. They're done. Yeah. They see they can pay with PayPal. They click PayPal. They're done. And then they get it. They know when they're going to get it and all that stuff.
I like both that journey and the idea that you need to think about it while you're working on your website and producing your content.
Yeah.
Because, that's starting from an Instagram post. You can start from an imagined search on the internet for a specific pickle shirt. Somebody's looking for pickle shirts. What do they find? Next thing they do is they find the blog post all about the varieties that are available. What's next after that? They're going to click on a link for one of the products that they find like really cool. They're going to go to that page. What are they going to do? They're going to see a description that matches what they were looking for and a picture of the shirt that they were looking for. And then they're going to see a price that they like. And then they are going to click the button. And then, so regardless, I like this idea of setting up the customer journey, from any place that you start.
And it's just the most important is that it's easy to do. Yeah. If it's a challenge to do, if there's not an easy way for them to check out, or if they're concerned in any way, they don't know when they're going to get it, they don't know if they trust you, then that will chip away, right? Amazon does so well with their stuff because you have a credit card stored there.
Yep. They
send you a text message or an email with a product you're going to like. You go click buy now. Done. Yeah. They've got it down to two things.
That's the journey.
Right? Now, that's hard for a small business to get click buy now, but you can get click add to cart, check out with PayPal or check out with Apple Pay or Amazon Pay, where a credit card's already stored somewhere else. And then just make sure they know when they're going to get it.
I love that.
All right. And then to wrap it up, you've got traffic and you've got some customers. Follow up, email them again, email those people again, mail them a thank you card with, call them if it's appropriate to call. Link to them on social.
You worked hard to get them there. Don't let it be the last time that you interact with them.
Yeah. Yep. Ask them to share. Ask them to link to you on social media wearing the shirt. You can put a card in the shirt that says, take a picture of this shirt and post it on social media at so-and-so, and we'll give you this for free.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to list to a bunch of different podcasts after this, a bunch of different resources in the notes. But I really think that everyone listening should bookmark this and listen to it every 90 days.
Yeah.
Because if you've got an online store, wherever it is, then you've learned a lot here about getting eyeballs on your website and then converting them into sales.
Yeah, and once you kind of figure it out and you've got a little bit of a thing going on, then then you can spend some more money on ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can. There's lots of little things you could do to experiment with paying to get to get more people to see your website and stuff like that. And you can go for that. And if you're willing to invest, a little bit of money to try to get it going, just make sure you've thought about this whole thing first before you start spending money, because I definitely know people who spend money on ads, and then they've asked me to look at it, and I go to their checkout page and I'm like, what am I buying? Oh, you're buying this course. What's it for? And I'm just like, I'm actually legitimately confused. Yeah. Oh no, well, you need to like, you're picking one of these. Okay. I was like, okay, it doesn't say that.
Right.
Right. And then you see the light bulbs go off. So, well, that's good. I think that there's a lot to learn here. There's a lot of podcasts that each of these topics can be, but if you do all this stuff, you will sell online. It's not going to be a fast journey unless you're lucky, connected, or you spend a bunch of money, and that's okay. You just keep on going at it, and eventually you will start to see that grow. And it's like a snowball, because you're doing all the right things. One customer turns to 2, 4, 8, 16. Yeah. Next thing you know, you can have 1,000 customers in a month.
That's great. Thanks, Mark Vila. This has been Mark Stevenson from the Custom Apparel Startups Podcast.
And this is Mark Vila from many different things, but today I'll say ColDesi and ColemanandCompany.com.
I like that. You guys have a great business.